Living on these islands, for some of us, is a blessing, for others, a curse. But who'd have thought we'd end up on the therapist's couch in the middle of a nervous breakdown, trying to figure out in our heads and in our politics who we truly think we are. Happy islanders or feeling cut adrift? My hope is that with the help of a bit of psychoanalytic insight, we can bring ourselves back together. It's quite an amazing building, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you been here before?
No, I never have. I live very close.
Do come in, Nick. Rebel MP Nick Boles is at a major crossroads in his life and career after leaving his party over Brexit, and he's agreed to talk to me about why. What would you like to get out of it, Nick? What would, if you walked out of here in an hour and a bit, what would you feel you'd like to get out of it?
So I think there's probably one thing I'm interested by, which is that for various reasons, some of which were my active decision and many of which were determined by events, my political journey has taken a very different direction. And I'm not unhappy about it, but I think it's interesting to perhaps understand why I ended up here.
Yeah. I was thinking this morning, oh, well, I'm having a Brexit bonus doing this, because I wouldn't normally.
Yeah.
And you're kind of having a Brexit bereavement. And I think that that's true. There are some winners and there are some losers in this. So I'm going to ask you to tell me a little bit about yourself. Why you became a politician. What is the bug?
The bug is, it's totally unpredictable.
Exciting.
Exciting. You ring on somebody's doorbell, they open the door, and you have 60 seconds, 90 seconds in which to engage them. Which actually I usually think of as nothing to do with politics at all. You're trying to make them think that you're a nice guy.
But it sounds, when you were talking about the ring on the doorbell, it made me think about getting likes on a tweet because it's a confirmation, isn't it?
It's conducted almost entirely at an emotional level.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make somebody think, yes, I'd like to have a drink with that guy.
Seduce them.
Seduce them. And somebody wrote a fascinating piece about junk love, and that Bill Clinton's appetite for junk love was closely related to his appetite for junk food. And that sort of an instant hit that you get from a Big Mac or a ice cream was not dissimilar to the instant hit he got from wowing a crowd, and I'm not immune to it.
What's striking is that I guess for you Brexit has been a watershed. You're going along, you're a junior minister, and then suddenly this bomb explodes.
I thought it was quite likely that, immediately after the referendum, David Cameron would reshuffle his cabinet and would perhaps put me in it. And that would be, the next step on my political journey. And as you say, it all blew apart.
Yeah.
I resigned from the government and then I got cancer again.
So here you are, all your political allies are,
scattered to the four winds.
Scattered to the four winds. I wonder where you were then, Nick. Did you just put your head into getting better again? And
it just took me out. I literally, my entire world was circumscribed by the sort of quarter mile around pretty much where we sit, because my flat is here and King's College Hospital, where I was being treated, is here.
His second cancer diagnosis was a defining moment for Nick. A year out of politics in which he realised he was prepared to lose everything he'd built politically to stop a no-deal Brexit.
Well, there isn't much time, and therefore, in the time you've got, focus on the things that matter. to sort of rip apart the tapestry in which Britain sits was just not something that I was willing to abet in any way.
I accept I have failed. I have failed chiefly because my party refuses to compromise. I regret, therefore, to announce that I can no longer sit for this party.
Oh, Nick,
The reason I made that little speech, and I didn't plan it. I didn't even know how the sentence was going to be end when I started it, was that if you go along with it, it will destroy your integrity.
I thought when I looked at you, I thought you felt like you were standing up to bullies. You, at that moment, became intransigent yourself.
There is a dangerous drug
Yeah.
in being the principled man standing on your own against the forces of darkness. It's potentially, I think one has to watch out for that.
I suppose it's got to also, a sort of suicidal quality in it too, because people
Yes.
are prepared to kind of sacrifice themselves, or and we admire that.
Yeah, and that's also why I can recognise the integrity in people on the other side of the Brexit argument, like Jacob Rees-Mogg and Steve Baker, who have believed this stuff passionately for a very long time. I can't always recognise it on some of the people who were on my side of the Brexit argument.
You've lost quite a lot, but I think it was also an act of freedom. I don't know if it felt like an act of freedom.
Totally.
Yeah. So now what next?
It's been utterly liberating. I had anticipated that there might be some significant moments of regret and feelings of loss and of being bereft. And it slightly astonishes me, but there really hasn't been a single one.
Well, thank you, Nick, very much for talking to me today. It's been really, really interesting.
I've enjoyed it, and I've learned things too, which is always good.
Good. Lovely.